It was always a goal of mine to move away, at least for a little bit. And I wanted to leave at least for a little bit. My goal was always to move away once I had graduated, or at least once I had secured a job and maybe I could gain some work experience and then move to the mainland with some work experience. Anyway, I wanted to move away, and this was like June, July of my graduating year. So this is like 2013 or so, 11 years ago, whatever it was. She had one more year left. She also had visions of moving away, and she just wanted to finish college first. She had one more year. So this was like June, July of the summer of 2013. And I had the idea of moving away. Like I wanted to go already, but she needed to stay until May of 2014 because that's when she graduated, one more year. I was like, okay, what are we going to do? She got an internship in DC with like the senator's office or something like that, House representative, whatever. And for the first semester of her senior year in college, she was going to be gone. So she was going to be gone from like August to December. And so I was going to have to hold down the fort in the place that we were living in for 4 months by myself. You know, not that I didn't have friends or anything like that. And then I would stay till she graduated in May, and then maybe we would leave together. I had two options in front of me. The one option was basically break up with this girl. I think a lot of people, young adults and parents, are going to run into. I know, not I think, from the conversations that I have, like they're having similar conversations with their young adults. Just so happens that I'm having this conversation at 21. I'm like 21 or whatever, 22, because I graduated college. And so but for some people, this is real at 18.
Yeah, this is
17.
earlier.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. For me, it was, do I stay in Hawaii or do I, and try to pursue this relationship and then move later, or do I move to the mainland now? And so on one side, I had to stay in this house for a year with my girlfriend at the time. And the other side was I had just gotten a job at a bank. It was technically my second job out of college. I got a job at a sister bank that was really, really short. And then I parlayed it into this job. But anyway, and they had a sister bank, an affiliated bank that was on the mainland. And they had this program that you could basically just switch into the bank. I mean, obviously you have to apply and stuff first, but as long as there was an opening, you could just go and apply, and the people that are already hired at affiliate banks, they get priority over the people that are outside. This program didn't have a specific tenure requirement. It didn't have what I think a lot of these programs have is, well, you have to be working at the place of business for 6 months or a year before you're able to transfer. This company didn't have that. It was basically you could get hired and you can start applying for the other roles and you get priority in those other roles. If they hire you, you can just jump ship. And in the mainland where I was looking in California, the exact job that I was doing in California, it was literally double. And they were paying double. It was $31,000 a year was the job. And I've talked about how my negotiation process went.
Ad nauseum.
Yeah, went really well. And
murdered it.
Yeah, killed it. I was getting paid $31,000 a year, and I was looking at these other jobs and they were getting paid $64,000 a year for the exact same role. And I was like, what the like, this is crazy. And not only that, but the inventory of jobs, or the amount of roles open that they had, was also double, triple. Not only were they getting paid more, but there was also more open roles for me to transfer into. The likelihood of me getting one of these roles is higher because in my company, it was smaller and there was only one role, my role and my partner's role. It didn't matter where in the mainland I went. Like I could go to NorCal, or I can go to Northern California, or I could go to Southern California. It didn't matter to me at the time, and I can go anywhere in between. There was way more roles open, and I was like, it actually looks pretty good for me to get into one of these roles. That was the decision in front of me. These are the decisions. And I had to talk to my dad about this because I didn't know what was going on. And I didn't know what decision to make. And it wasn't my dad that gave me this framework of going back to my goals, but it was this piece of advice that my dad gave me that led me to going back to my goals. Which is the piece of advice that he gave me, which I thank every day for this piece of advice, is that he said, Ryan, I can't tell you what to do. Like, I don't know, and he's like, it's not my life. And he said, whatever you choose though, just make sure that you're doing it for you, and make sure that you are fully aware of the consequences. And he was just saying consequences like good and bad. Doesn't matter. Just like the end things that are going to happen because you make this decision. And you just make sure that you are doing this for you and that you accept responsibility for everything that's about to happen. I was like, okay, well, that's not super helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thinking about that, I was like, okay, well, how would I be comfortable with doing this? Like, how would I be comfortable with me making this decision? And I said, well, I probably should clarify what my goals are. I should probably clarify, like, why would I stay or why would I go? And so when it came back to it, I would stay because of this girl. And I think that eventually I'm going to move up there anyway. And there's 3 times the amount of jobs, 4 times the amount of jobs up there for the exact same role that I have now. In a year, I'll be even more experienced. I can apply to even higher roles in a year, or I'll just be even likelier to get hired for these roles. And then I can stay with my girlfriend now, who I love and who we're living together and who I thought I was going to marry. And then the other thing was, but I could just get a head start right now in my career and get out there and live my dream or whatever. Start living that now. It seems to me that I have to clarify like, what really matters. So for me, I had to look back and I was like, okay, what really matters? Like, what is the goal? And to me, at the time, it led the line of questioning. It all started with my dad saying, I have to be okay with whatever decision that I make. And then so now for me, I'm thinking, okay, well, what is my goal? It seemed like ultimately, if I had the right life partner, wouldn't that make any other decisions easier going forward? And that was my mindset at 21-year-old. I was like, finding somebody that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with is
pretty high up on the list.
Pretty high up on the list. If I think that this person is that,
all the other things are downstream.
This decision's so much easier because I'm clarifying my goals. Like, yeah, I'm looking for a life partner that makes all these other decisions easier. I ultimately made the decision to stay, and it ended up being a disaster.
I know how the story ends.
Yeah.
So I've heard this before, but for everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, she met someone else while she was up there, Patrick.
Wow.
What was his name?
Not to outing him on the podcast.
Whatever, man.
Whoa.
Yeah, she dumped me. I went into a little drunken spiral of unfortunate events. Ended up quitting that job I was supposed to transfer out of. Ended up being a bartender for like 5 to 8 more years.
It's okay, because then we met.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was all supposed to happen.
Yeah, and the rest is...
So thanks, Patrick.